The first sign was a flash of light near Jupiter. Earth's deep space monitoring stations picked it up at 3:47 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time on a Tuesday in late autumn. Within minutes, every major observatory on the planet had turned their instruments toward the same spot. What they saw made no sense at first. A massive object had appeared out of nowhere, slowing as it approached Jupiter's orbit. Tom Wells was drinking his third cup of coffee when the call came through to NASA headquarters. As Director of Extraterrestrial Communications, he had spent 20 years hoping for this moment, while secretly praying it would never happen. "How big?" he asked, staring at the blurry image on his screen. "Best guess?" 2 kilometers long, replied Dr. Rivera from the Arecibo station. "It's moving at speeds we can't explain, sir, and it's heading straight for us." Within 6 hours, the object had crossed the distance that would take a conventional spacecraft years. It slowed as it approached Earth's orbit, finally stopping. At a position above the North Pacific. By then, the world knew. Social media exploded with grainy photos and wild theories. Stock markets plummeted. Religious leaders called for calm while privately wondering if Judgment Day had arrived. The object, clearly a vessel of some kind, hung in orbit, silent and waiting. 3 days passed. Military forces worldwide went to their highest alert levels. People stocked up on supplies or fled cities, despite government assurances. Some celebrated in the streets, believing salvation had arrived from the stars. Then the message came. It appeared simultaneously on every connected screen on Earth, bypassing all security protocols as if they didn't exist. The image showed a humanoid figure with pale blue skin, large eyes, and a narrow face that seemed almost familiar despite its alienness. When it spoke, its words were translated into every major language, the mouth movements eerily synchronized. "People of Earth," the figure said, its voice surprisingly warm. "I am Captain Nix of the Reclamation Fleet. We mean no harm. We have come to recover what was left behind." In Washington, D.C., General Laura Hayes stood beside the president in the Situation Room, watching the broadcast repeat for the 5th time. "What do they mean, left behind?" the president asked, turning to the hastily assembled team of scientists and military advisors. Professor Ray Miller, a balding man with thick glasses who had been pulled from his university office just hours ago, cleared his throat. "They're saying their people were here before, 30,000 years ago." The room fell silent. "That's impossible," General Hayes said finally. "We would have found evidence, ruins, technology, something." "Would we?" Professor Miller adjusted his glasses. 30,000 years is a long time. The last ice age was ending then. Most of human civilization was just beginning. If they left something behind, it could be buried under ice sheets that melted, forests that grew, cities we built. The president pinched the bridge of his nose. "They want to land. They're asking for permission. We can't possibly allow that," the general began. "We can't possibly stop them," Professor Miller interrupted. "If they can cross interstellar space and hack every computer on Earth simultaneously, they could probably wipe us out without landing." The president nodded slowly. "Then we talk." 2 days later, in a hastily constructed meeting facility outside of Geneva, representatives from Earth's major powers gathered to meet Captain Nix and 3 other members of his crew. The aliens were taller than humans, with lean bodies and graceful movements that suggested they came from a lower gravity world. Despite their blue skin and large eyes, there was something disturbingly familiar about their faces. Captain Nix spread his 6-fingered hands. "We understand your fear, but we assure you we are only here to recover our property." "Property that's been here for 30,000 years?" asked the Chinese representative skeptically. "Yes." Nix touched a device on his wrist, and a holographic image appeared above the table. A star map. "Our explorers came to your world during what you would call the Upper Paleolithic period. They were part of a survey mission, charting this region of space." The map zoomed in on Earth, showing the continents as they would have appeared during the Ice Age. "Their ship was damaged by an unexpected magnetic anomaly in your system. They made an emergency landing here." A point of light appeared on what was now North America. From our records, they established a base and sent a distress signal. We never received it. Why wait 30,000 years to come looking? The American Secretary of State asked. One of the other aliens, introduced as Science Officer Len, spoke for the first time. Our civilization experienced difficulties. A cosmic event damaged much of our infrastructure. We have spent millennia recovering and searching for our lost expeditions. The room grew quiet as the implications sank. In a civilization so advanced they could cross the stars, yet vulnerable enough to be crippled by natural disaster, it made them seem more real somehow, more believable. What exactly are you hoping to recover? Asked the Russian president. Captain, Nix touched his device again. The hologram shifted to show a sleek vessel, similar in design to the massive ship now orbiting Earth, but much smaller. The Explorer craft and its supplies. Our scans indicate it is still intact, buried approximately 200 meters beneath the surface of what you now call Chicago. Concerned murmurs filled the room. That's the middle of a major city, the American said. Over 2 million people live there. We understand, Nix replied. We will need your cooperation to access it safely. In return, we are prepared to share certain technologies that may benefit your world. And if we refuse? General Hayes asked from her position behind the Secretary of State. Captain Nix's expression remained neutral. The ship contains technologies dangerous if left unattended. What you call climate change has begun to thaw permafrost and shift geological layers. There is risk of activation. For both our sakes, we must recover it. Dr. Alex Morgan didn't expect the call. As a xenoarchaeologist, he had spent his career being ridiculed for suggesting ancient human civilizations might have had contact with extraterrestrial visitors. Now, as he stared at the government official on his screen, he wondered if he was dreaming. They specifically asked for you, Dr. Morgan, the woman said. Your papers on possible alien influence in early human development caught their attention. Alex ran a hand through his messy brown hair. You're saying the aliens read my work, apparently. They want you to help coordinate the excavation in Chicago. Your expertise in both archaeology and theoretical alien technology makes you uniquely qualified. He laughed shakily. Most of my colleagues think I'm a crackpot. Well, the aliens don't. Pack your bags, Dr. Morgan. You leave for Chicago in 3 hours. As Alex looked around his office at the framed rejection letters from scientific journals that he'd hung as a joke, he wondered what his critics would say now. After 30,000 years, the past was coming back to life, and he would be there to witness it. The morning air was cold in Chicago as Dr. Alex Morgan watched the last civilian cars leave the evacuation zone. 10 city blocks in downtown Chicago had been cleared, with buildings emptied and streets blocked off by military checkpoints. The area around Grant Park had become an alien worksite almost overnight. Never thought I'd see the day, muttered Pete, the Army engineer standing next to Alex. Aliens digging up Michigan Avenue. Alex nodded, still not quite believing it himself. He watched as the alien workers set up strange equipment around the park. Their tools looked like art more than technology, smooth curves of metal that glowed with inner light. No sharp edges, no visible screws or joints. Dr. Morgan, a voice, called. Alex turned to see one of the aliens approaching. This one was shorter than Captain Nix, but had the same blue skin and large eyes. I am Lorne, Chief Archaeologist of this operation. I look forward to working with you. Alex shook the alien's 6-fingered hand, noting how warm it felt despite the cool morning. The honor is mine. I've spent my career theorizing about alien contact with early humans. Never expected to meet one of you in person. Lorne's mouth curved in what seemed like a smile. And I never expected to find humans had advanced so far. Our record showed your species using stone tools when our explorers visited. Now you have digital technology, flight, and nuclear power. 30,000 years is a long time for evolution, Alex replied. Lorne tilted his head. Yes, quite rapid development, actually. Before Alex could ask what he meant, Captain Nix approached with General Hayes and several officials. The excavation was about to begin. The aliens' equipment made Earth's best drilling technology look primitive. Instead of digging with mechanical force, they used what Lorne called molecular separation, a beam of energy that passed through soil and rock, temporarily weakening the bonds between molecules. The Earth simply parted like water, forming a perfect shaft downward. By the third day, they had reached a depth of 100 meters. Alex spent most of his time in the command tent set up at the edge of the park, studying the 3D scans the aliens were making of everything they passed through. "This layer here," he said, pointing to a dark band on the screen. "That's from about 15,000 years ago when the last ice age was ending." Lorne nodded. "And our ship should be approximately 100 meters below that. The ice sheets would have buried it initially. Then sediment accumulated as the ice melted." As they studied the scans, Alex noticed something odd. Small objects scattered through the layers, some giving off weak energy signatures that the alien sensors detected. "What are these?" he asked. Lorne hesitated before answering. "Traces of our technology. More than should be here." "What do you mean?" The exploration team had standard equipment. These readings suggest they dispersed technology across a wide area. Lorne's large eyes blinked slowly. "It is unexpected," Alex felt, a chill that had nothing to do with the weather. "Were they trying to hide things?" "Perhaps," Lorne admitted. "Or perhaps they were using technology to survive after their crash. We will know more when we reach the ship." A week into the dig, Alex was called to a secure facility outside the excavation zone. Inside, he found Professor Miller and several government scientists examining what looked like stone tablets. "These were found in northern Spain last year," Professor Miller explained. "They're about 28,000 years old, but no one could make sense of the markings until now." He showed Alex photographs of the tablets next to alien text from Captain Nix's files. The similarities were unmistakable. "There's more," said a woman Alex didn't recognize. She introduced herself as Dr. Reed, an anthropologist. "We've been reviewing ancient myths and cave paintings from around the world with this new context. Look at these." She laid out images of cave paintings from France, Australia, Africa, and South America. All showed similar tall, thin figures with oversized heads, figures that locals had variously interpreted as gods, spirits, or demons. "They were everywhere," Dr. Reed said quietly. "Not just at one crash site in North America. The alien presence was global." Alex studied the images, his mind racing. "Have you shown these to Captain Nix?" "Not yet. We wanted your opinion first." "I think," Alex said slowly, "that we're not getting the full story about this survey mission." Back at the dig site, they reached 180 meters when the sensors detected a large metal object. The alien team worked with increased urgency, their equipment humming as they cleared the last layers of Earth. And there it was, gleaming despite millennia of burial, a ship about the size of a small airplane. Its surface was unmarked by time or pressure, the same smooth curved design as the alien's current technology. "Remarkable preservation," Alex said, staring in awe as lights around the ship's hull began to glow faintly in response to the excavation equipment. "Our materials are designed to last," Lorne replied. "They self-repair on a molecular level when energy is available." As they set up a perimeter around the ship, Alex noticed something carved into the ground beneath it. Not alien writing, but primitive human symbols. They formed a circle around the vessel like a boundary marker or warning. "Those weren't made by your people," Alex said. Lorne studied them with unusual intensity. "No. These are human markings." "What do they mean?" "I cannot say for certain, but I believe your ancestors were guarding this place." Before Alex could ask more questions, a team of alien technicians approached the ship's hull. They placed their hands on specific points and a seam appeared in the seamless metal. A door was opening. The air that rushed out was stale but breathable. Inside, lights flickered on automatically. revealing a control room with seats designed for bodies similar to the aliens, but not identical. They adapted the ship, Lorne whispered, almost to himself. Changed it to suit their needs as they changed themselves. Alex followed him inside, noting how the technology seemed both incredibly advanced and oddly makeshift in places, as if repairs had been done with limited resources. In what appeared to be the main control area, they found a sealed container with alien markings. Captain Nix, who had joined them, approached it reverently. A message from Navigator Trell, he said. The expedition leader. The container opened at his touch, revealing a crystal-like object that projected a holographic map when activated. It showed Earth, but with dozens of points marked across the continents. What are these locations? General Hayes asked, having insisted on being present for the ship's opening. Captain Nix stared at the map, his expression unreadable. Other sites, places where our technology was stored or installed. Installed? Alex repeated. What kind of technology? Before Nix could answer, one of the alien technicians called out in their language. He had found something in what looked like a sleeping chamber, a primitive human-made container preserved inside the ship's protective field. Inside were stone tools, animal hides, and drawings. But these weren't just any stone tools. The flint had been shaped with remarkable precision, using techniques that wouldn't appear in the archaeological record for thousands of years after the ship's crash. And the drawings showed alien figures teaching humans to make fire, craft tools, and build shelters. It seems, Lorne said quietly, that our ancestors did more than survey your world. They changed it. Alex looked from the ancient human artifacts to the alien ship, understanding dawning. They didn't just crash here. They stayed. They taught. Early humans, Captain Nix nodded slowly. And now we must find what else they left behind. The map from Navigator Trell's message showed 27 sites across all continents. Within days, teams of human and alien researchers were dispatched to investigate each location. Dr. Alex Morgan was sent to the Atacama Desert in Chile, one of the driest places on Earth. Perfect for preservation, Lorne explained as their helicopter flew over the barren landscape. If our ancestors left anything here, it would remain intact for millennia. Alex watched the alien archaeologist studying, readings on a handheld device. In the weeks since they had discovered the ship in Chicago, Lorne had become less formal, more willing to share information. Or perhaps, Alex thought, he was just being allowed to share more. The helicopter landed on a flat stretch of desert. Nothing looked special about this spot, just rocks and sand stretching to the horizon under the harsh sun. But Lorne walked directly to a specific area and waved his device over the ground. Here, he said simply. The ground beneath them hummed. The sand began to shift, falling away as if being poured down an invisible drain. Alex stepped back in alarm, as a perfect circle, 10 meters wide, opened in the desert floor, revealing a spiral staircase made of the same smooth metal as the alien ship. It recognized the scanner signal, Lorne said, seemingly unsurprised. This facility is still active. Alex stared at the opening. Active after 30,000 years? Our power sources last much longer than that. Lorne started down the stairs. Come. It is safe. Alex followed, his heart pounding. The staircase descended at least 50 meters underground before opening into a vast chamber. As they entered, lights activated automatically, revealing walls of technology surrounding a central pillar that pulsed with blue energy. What is this place? Alex whispered. Lorne walked to a control panel that lit up at his touch. It appears to be a terraforming station. Terraforming? You mean changing a planet to make it habitable? Yes. Lorne's long fingers moved across the panel, bringing up displays of information in the alien language. This facility was designed to make subtle changes to Earth's atmosphere, temperature, and soil composition. Alex felt cold despite the comfortable temperature in the underground chamber. Your people were planning to colonize Earth. Lorne didn't answer immediately. He continued studying the displays, his expression growing more troubled. This system has been running on minimal power for thousands of years, making tiny adjustments to the local environment, and there are 26 other stations like it worldwide. Is that why you really came back? Alex asked, his voice hardening. Not just to recover your ship, but to finish colonizing Earth? No. Lorne turned to face him. Captain Nix truly did not know about this. Our records only mentioned a survey mission. Then why? Alex's question was cut short by a beeping from Lorne's communicator. The alien answered it, listening to rapid speech in his own language. His large eyes widened. What's happening? Alex asked when the call ended. The other sites, Lorne said. They're all activating simultaneously. Something is triggering them. Around the world, similar scenes were unfolding. In Siberia, a facility, buried under permafrost, began melting the ice above it. In the Amazon rainforest, trees shifted as something rose from beneath them. Off the coast of Japan, the sea bubbled as a structure on the ocean floor powered up. At military command centers worldwide, leaders watched with growing alarm as their sensors detected energy signatures unlike anything they had recorded before. Captain, Nix faced an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council via holographic projection. His usual calm demeanor was shaken. We did not know about these installations, he insisted. The records from that time are incomplete. We believed our ancestors came to survey your world, crashed, and either died or were rescued somehow. Yet we find evidence of what looks like preparation for invasion, General Hayes said coldly. 27 terraforming stations ready to remake our planet for your species. That was not our mission now, Nix replied. We came only for our ship and technology, which is now activating. All by itself, the Chinese representative pointed out. Convenient timing. As the accusations flew, Dr. Reed, the anthropologist who had shown Alex the cave paintings, was granted permission to speak. There's something else you should know, she said. We've been analyzing DNA samples from ancient human remains dating to the time of the alien visit. We've found anomalies. The room fell silent. What kind of anomalies? The Secretary General asked. Genetic markers that don't match known human evolution patterns, Dr. Reed explained. We believe some of the aliens may have interbred with early humans. Captain Nix's hologram flickered slightly, the only sign of his shock. That would be unprecedented. Our species are not biologically compatible. They modified themselves, came a new voice. Alex had just entered the chamber with Lorne, having been flown back from Chile on a military jet. The ship in Chicago showed evidence that the crew adapted their own bodies over time. Lorne stepped forward. I believe I understand now. The original mission was indeed a survey, but after the crash, the survivors faced a choice. Wait for a rescue that might never come, or adapt to life on Earth. They chose the latter, Alex continued. They modified their bodies to survive Earth's conditions. They created the terraforming stations not to prepare for invasion, but to make small changes that would help them survive here. And they interbred with humans, Dr. Reed added, passing on some of their genetic traits. The implications hung heavy in the air. If these aliens had mixed their DNA with early humans 30,000 years ago, what did that mean for humanity now? The answer came sooner than anyone expected. Reports began flooding in from around the world of people experiencing strange symptoms near the activated sites. Heightened senses, improved reflexes, and in some cases the ability to interact with the alien technology. The dormant genes are awakening, Lorne said, studying the reports. When Navigator Trell's crew mingled their DNA with humans, they created a bridge between our species. And now that our technology is active again, it's triggering those genes, Alex finished. He looked down at his own hands, remembering how the lights in the Atacama facility had seemed to brighten when he entered, how the control panels had partially responded to his touch. We're carrying their legacy inside us. Captain Nix's hologram stood silent for a long moment. We came seeking our past, he said finally. Instead, we may have awakened Earth's future. As if in response to his words, the screens in the chamber flickered, showing live feeds from the Chicago site. The buried alien ship was glowing now, patterns of light racing across its hull, and floating above it was a holographic message, not in alien script but in primitive human symbols combined with alien technology. A message left by those who chose to stay, 30,000 years ago, meant for those who might someday return. News of the alien DNA found in humans spread across the world like wildfire. People rushed to testing centers to discover if they carried the ancient genetic markers. Some feared what it might mean, while others hoped they would develop special abilities like those reported near the activation sites. Dr. Alex Morgan sat nervously in a medical lab at the Chicago base camp, watching as Dr. Faye Wilson examined his test results. "Well?" he asked when he couldn't stand the silence any longer. Dr. Wilson looked up from her tablet. "Your DNA shows a significant presence of the alien markers. About 8% of your genetic code contains sequences that match samples from Captain Nix's crew." Alex felt dizzy. "That's why I could partially interact with the technology in Chile." "Yes," Dr. Wilson nodded. "And you're not alone. We've identified similar patterns in about 3% of the global population. The markers appear more concentrated in certain genetic lineages." "Which ones?" "Interestingly, they cross what we normally consider racial lines. The markers appear in specific family groups across all continents, suggesting the original aliens spread widely and integrated with many early human populations." Alex thought about his own family history. Nothing special that he knew of. Just ordinary people from the Midwest going back generations. Yet somehow he carried the legacy of visitors from another star. "What happens now?" he asked. "Captain Nix has requested to meet with you and others who show strong markers," Dr. Wilson replied. "The Chicago ship's AI core has been recovered. They're preparing to activate it." The ship's AI core looked like a crystal sphere about the size of a basketball. It sat on a special platform in a heavily guarded tent near the excavation site. Around it stood Captain Nix, Lorne, General Hayes, and several humans with confirmed alien DNA markers, including Alex. "The core contains the complete logs of Navigator Trell and his crew," Captain Nix explained, "but our technicians cannot fully access it. The system was modified to respond to the hybrid DNA." "You want us to try?" Alex said. It wasn't a question. Nix nodded. "The core's energy signature matches what we're detecting from those of you with active markers. We believe Trell's crew designed it this way intentionally." Alex stepped forward, looking at the other humans selected for this task. There was Dr. Reed, the anthropologist, a young woman named Maria who had been working at the Brazil site, and an older man introduced as Professor Bell from Australia. All of them, like Alex, had reported strange experiences with the alien technology. "What do we do?" Maria asked, her voice steady despite the pressure. "Simply place your hands on the core together," Lorne instructed. "If our theory is correct, your combined genetic signatures should unlock the system." The four humans exchanged glances, then moved forward as one. As their hands touched the crystal surface, it began to glow with a warm blue light. The glow spread up their arms, not hurting but creating a strange tingling sensation. The air above the core shimmered, and a holographic figure appeared. A male alien with features similar to Captain Nix's species, but also subtly different. His frame was heavier, his skin a deeper blue, his eyes slightly smaller. "I am Navigator Trell," the figure announced. "If you are viewing this message, then the children of two worlds have reunited at last." The tent fell silent as everyone stared at the figure of an alien who had walked the Earth 30,000 years ago. "Our mission began as exploration," Trell continued. "We were mapping this sector when a solar flare damaged our ship, forcing us to land on this world. We sent distress signals, but as years passed with no response, we faced a terrible truth. Something had happened to our civilization. The hologram showed images of the alien homeworld suffering some kind of catastrophe. Massive storms and strange energy waves sweeping across its surface. We had detected early warnings of a cosmic event that threatened our star system. If no rescue came, we feared the worst had occurred. Rather than die waiting, we chose to live." The hologram changed to show the alien crew working alongside. Early humans teaching them to make better tools and shelters. The native species of this world, humans, were primitive, but showed remarkable potential. We decided to help them, while adapting ourselves to survive here. Our scientists modified our bodies to better withstand Earth's gravity and atmosphere. Over generations, some of us chose to share our genetic material with humans, creating children with the best qualities of both species. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. He was looking at his ancestors, both human and alien. The terraforming stations were not designed to remake Earth for our kind, Trell explained, confirming Lorne's theory. They were created to maintain small habitable zones where our hybrid descendants could thrive until they were ready to learn the truth. We placed our technology in hiding, set to awaken when either our people returned or our hybrid children reached the necessary level of development. Captain Nick stepped forward. Navigator Trell, our civilization survived the cosmic event, though greatly damaged. We have spent millennia rebuilding and searching for lost expeditions like yours. The hologram seemed to focus on Nick's, as if the AI could actually see and respond to him. Then our hope was not in vain. Did many of our people survive? Enough to rebuild, Nix replied, but we lost much knowledge and many colony worlds. Trell's hologram nodded sadly. Then what we preserved here becomes even more valuable. The data cores at each terraforming station contain copies of our scientific and cultural records. We left them as a backup, in case the worst happened. General Hayes, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. You're saying these stations contain your civilization's complete knowledge? Yes, Trell confirmed. Knowledge we chose to protect until humanity was ready. We believed that one day either our people would return or our human descendants would advance enough to discover the truth themselves. And now both have happened at once, Alex said. Trell's hologram turned to him. You carry our legacy in your blood. The ability to access our technology is only the beginning. As the systems fully activate, those with the markers will develop. Other abilities, enhanced healing, extended lifespan, increased mental capacity. Professor Bell frowned. Won't that create a dangerous division among humans? Some with special powers and others without? The markers were designed to spread gradually through the human population, Trell explained. Over thousands of generations, the gifts would become universal. We did not wish to replace humans, but to help them reach their full potential while preserving something of ourselves. Dr. Reed leaned forward. The cave paintings and myths around the world. They were recording your presence. Yes, some human groups feared us, others worshipped us, but the wisest understood we were simply travelers helping them prepare for a journey of their own. What journey? Alex asked. The hologram expanded to show the stars. The journey to join the wider community of intelligent life. Earth was never meant to be isolated forever. Our hope was that by the time humanity reached the stars, they would carry a piece of us with them. Captain Nix turned to General Hayes and the other human officials. It seems our ancestors did not come as conquerors, but as guardians and teachers, added Lorne. The hologram of Navigator Trell looked at the gathered humans and aliens. Now you must decide how to proceed with this legacy. The choice belongs to both peoples now. As the hologram faded, the crystal core continued to glow, pulsing like a heartbeat. The preserved memory of those who had looked at the stars 30,000 years ago and decided to stay. 2 weeks after the activation of Navigator Trell's AI core, world leaders gathered in New York for an unprecedented summit. The United Nations General Assembly Hall had been modified to accommodate both human and alien delegates. At the center of the room stood a large round table where representatives from Earth's major nations sat alongside Captain Nix and his officers. The air was tense with possibility and fear. Outside, crowds gathered in the streets. Some carried signs welcoming their star cousin, while others protested against what they saw as an alien takeover. Military forces remained on high alert worldwide, even as scientists eagerly studied data from the terraforming stations. Dr. Alex Morgan adjusted his tie nervously as he took his seat at the table. He was there not as a scientist, but as a representative of the newly identified hybrid descendants. humans with significant alien DNA. Next to him sat Dr. Reed, Professor Bell, and Maria, who had helped activate the AI core. They had become something of a team over the past 2 weeks. Ready for this? Maria whispered. Alex nodded. As ready as I'll ever be to help negotiate humanity's first interstellar treaty. The Secretary General called the meeting to order. We face a moment unlike any in human history, she began. The discovery that we are not alone in the universe has been joined by the even more remarkable revelation that some of us carry the legacy of another world in our very cells. Captain Nix rose to speak next. My people came seeking our lost technology and explorers. We have found far more, a branch of our own family tree we never knew existed. He touched a device on his wrist, and a holographic display appeared above the table, showing both alien and human DNA strands merging together. For 30,000 years, a piece of our civilization has been preserved here, not just in technology but in people. Navigator Trell and his crew chose to make Earth their home when they believed our world was lost. And they chose to alter humanity without our consent, the Russian president pointed out. Some might call that interference with our natural development. Professor Bell spoke up. The evidence suggests they were careful. They didn't replace humans. They shared knowledge and, in some cases, their genetic traits. Early humans accepted this exchange because they saw your ancestors as gods, the Chinese representative replied. Captain Nick shook his head. Navigator Trell's logs show they specifically taught humans they were not gods, merely travelers with different knowledge. Some human groups understood this better than others. General Hayes, who had been listening silently, leaned forward. The question now is, what are your intentions? You've recovered your ship. You've found these stations with your civilization's knowledge. Will you take them and leave, or do you have other plans for Earth? The room grew quiet. This was the question everyone had been afraid to ask directly. Captain Nix looked around the table before answering. Originally, we intended to recover our property and depart. But circumstances have changed. The connection between our peoples runs deeper than we ever imagined. He continued with careful words. Our civilization nearly collapsed after the cosmic event. We survived and rebuilt but lost many colony worlds and much knowledge. What Navigator Trell preserved here, both technological data and genetic diversity, is precious beyond measure to us. So you want to stay, the American president said bluntly. Not to colonize, Nix clarified, but to establish an alliance, to reconnect with the part of our people that has been growing here, unknown to us for millennia. Dr. Reed joined the conversation. The alien genetic markers are becoming more active in those who carry them. People are reporting enhanced healing, improved mental abilities, and natural interfaces with the ancient technology. This isn't something we can ignore or undo. And it's spreading, added Alex. The markers were designed to gradually increase in the human population. Within a few generations, most humans will carry some alien DNA. Navigator Trell's crew planned for a slow merger of our species. The Japanese delegate raised a hand. This feels like a decision that was made for us long ago. Perhaps, Alex acknowledged. But now we have a choice about how to move forward. The debate continued for hours. Some nations wanted the aliens to remove their technology and leave. Others saw tremendous opportunities in an alliance. Through it all, Alex found himself increasingly acting as a bridge between the two sides, understanding both the human fear of the unknown and the alien desire to reconnect with their lost kin. Finally, as evening fell, Captain Nix made a proposal that silenced the room. We will not claim Earth as a colony. Instead, we offer to recognize it as a partner world. Those humans who wish to learn from us may do so. Those who wish to remain separate may do so as well. The terraforming stations will be placed under joint control, with their knowledge shared gradually as humanity is ready to receive it. And what do you get from this arrangement? General Hayes asked. The chance to know our long-lost family. Nix replied simply. And perhaps to learn from you as well. Navigator Trell's logs show that his crew came to deeply respect humans for their adaptability, creativity, and resilience, traits our own people sometimes lack. The Secretary General called for a recess so the human delegates could confer, privately. As they filed out, Alex found himself standing alone with Captain Nix. "Do you think they'll agree?" Alex asked. "I don't know," Nix admitted. "Fear and pride can be powerful obstacles." "So can hope and curiosity," Alex replied. "Those are human traits too." Nix studied him curiously. "You stand between our worlds in a unique way, Dr. Morgan. Not fully human by your genetics, not alien. By your upbringing. What do you believe should happen?" Alex thought about the question. "I believe we're looking at this wrong. It's not about humans and aliens anymore. It's about the past and the future. Your ancestors made a choice 30,000 years ago to build something new here. They didn't see themselves as separate from humanity. They became part of humanity's story." Nix nodded slowly. "And now that story continues." 3 months later, Alex stood on the launch pad at the newly constructed joint space facility in Kenya. Above him towered a ship unlike any humans had built before, a vessel created with shared technology, designed to travel faster than light. "Nervous?" asked Maria, now his fellow crew member. "Terrified," Alex admitted with a smile. But in a good way. The Earth-Star Alliance had been formally established after weeks of negotiation. While some nations had opted for limited involvement, most had embraced the partnership. The first joint mission, a journey to a nearby star system with a habitable planet, would carry a crew of both aliens and humans with active genetic markers. As Chief Communications Officer, Alex would help bridge the gap between the two peoples. His ability to interface with alien technology, growing stronger each day, made him ideal for the role. Captain Nix approached them, wearing the new uniform that bore both alien symbols and Earth's continents. "All preparations are complete. Are you ready to make history, Dr. Morgan?" Alex looked back at Earth, the blue planet that had been home to both humans and alien descendants for 30,000 years. "Our ancestors from both worlds would be proud," he said. "They prepared us for exactly this moment." As they boarded the ship, Alex thought about Navigator Trell and his crew. They had crashed on a primitive world and, instead of despairing, had seen potential. They had chosen to share their knowledge and themselves with early humans, creating a legacy that would eventually reach the stars. Now that legacy was coming full circle. Earth was taking its first true steps into the galaxy, not alone, but with friends who were also family. The journey that began 30,000 years ago was finally continuing.